We're live, everybody.
Yay!
Welcome to Women Investor Wednesdays. Today we have Nancy Wallace-Laabs and Kelcie Leka, and I'm so excited to have you ladies join us on Women Investor Wednesdays.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Beth. We're excited to be here.
So let me tell you a little bit about why you're here, and then we're going to launch into your journeys, things that you want to talk about. I know you've got coaching also and training and just your whole mission. So I'm very, very excited to have you because we are so aligned in what we're doing, except that I don't coach or train. So I'm glad that you guys are here. I just want to inspire and then let them all go and talk to you all. Is that good?
That's
Perfect.
good.
Okay. So 5 years ago, I read a stat that of all of the commercial real estate investors in the US, only 3% were women. And of that 3%, half was inherited or spouses of guys that were signing on guarantees. So that means that being a shopping center portfolio owner, we're part of 1.5%. And I thought that was awful. So I figured I need to change that because we need more women investors in commercial real estate. So I started asking my friends, do you invest? And many of them said, no, not in commercial real estate. I go, well, why don't you? And they said, well, we don't have millions of dollars. And I'm like, okay, that is a false statement. You don't need millions of dollars. And then I said, and then I kept asking, why don't you invest? And they said, it's too complicated. And I'm like, well, do you invest anywhere? And they're like, well, in the stock market. I go, yeah, that's not complicated at all. And then it's too risky. I said, yeah, my Netflix stock dropped 80% last year. That's not risky. And I kept asking because I was like a dog with a bone. And then finally they all started saying the same thing. And they said, we don't know any other women doing it. So of course that's true because there's only 3% of us. So I said, now that's a problem I can solve and would like to solve. So during COVID, I had a webinar or like a summit online, a virtual online summit, and we had about 100 women. And I interviewed, I think, 8 women who were investors in all different asset classes. So multifamily, retail, land, fix and flips. And there were, over 90 women that were just watching and fascinated. And we had breakout rooms. It was great. So then I said, okay, this is good. We can do this live. So for the next 3 years, I did 3 live events, and every year it's more and more people. So our next event's in March, and we'll probably have 250 women. And every year I do pretty much the same program where I interview women who have invested, and then they go out in different breakout rooms and they show the women that are interested in specific breakout rooms how they've underwritten deals. And it's been fabulous. And every year at the beginning of the conference, I say, who was here last year and had not invested, but had invested since? And usually 10 to 15 women stand up. So I don't know how I'm going to ever track how we change that 3%. I just know it's going up. So please share with the audience, each of you. So that's why you're here. And then I decided, instead of just doing something once a year, because not everyone can come to, Kelcie, like you, sometimes they have little kids and they can't come to the conference. Yeah. So I said, and I kept meeting. Now that this is becoming a thing for me, people are sending me, you should talk to so-and-so, they invest. You should talk to so-and-so, they invest. And there's too many. Now it's great. There's so many women. I figured, let's do a podcast every Wednesday night, Women Investor Wednesday, so that I can give people like you platforms to share your stories. So it's not just the women that I interview at the conference. Yeah. So welcome. That's my story in a nutshell.
Well, thank you. We're happy to be here.
The rest is about you guys. So tell the audience about you guys.
All right, Kelcie, I'll start. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So if you haven't figured it out, Kelcie and I are mother-daughter, and we're a mother-daughter duo that we invest together. We love it and everything, but it wasn't always like that.
I didn't know that, how you were mother-daughter. So I already learned something.
Yes. So we're out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Frisco, Texas, to be exact. And I've been investing in single family properties since 2006. I used to own a property management company. And in 2015, I, took a different direction and said, you know what, I'm just going to go all in, because I had been investing kind of on a part-time basis while growing the property management company. And I started getting into niche kind of creative ways to buy property, specifically with a self-directed IRA. And I had done some flips along the way, and I had, and I don't normally wholesale, because if I find a good deal, I'm keeping it, right? That's, when I meet people that want to wholesale, like, okay, wait, let me teach you how to keep it. Because a lot of times I think, Beth, what you're saying is, one of the misconceptions is that you need a ton of money to get started in real estate, and nothing could be further from the truth. Now, I do want to preface, you need some money, right? You need some money, but you don't need tons of money. And in a single family. So anyway, then it came to like COVID. We've done owner finance. So I've done just about everything, and then I became in Texas kind of just happenstance. I don't really call it an expert, but I became someone, I'm going to say a wizard of short-term rentals. Because I started, buying them and posting some videos on YouTube. And I started having all of my realtor friends call me and go, well, my client wants to buy a property. What should I look for? What is rental arbitrage? And so that caused me to write a short-term rental course that I submitted to Texas Association of Realtors, and they approved it for CE. And in this area, there's a couple of us that have that, but I'm one of the few realtors that have been certified by the Texas Association of Realtors to actually teach short-term rental to realtors about, and the premise of the course is how to identify properties for your clients. Because what was happening is the realtors were, showing properties, selling properties with the idea the investor, they didn't know what they were looking for, and caused some issues. And I'm just going to do a little shout out. I was very proud to say that I was able to present that same course at the conference that they just had here in August for the Texas Association Realtors Conference. Right. So fast forward after COVID, Kelcie, she had my 2 grandbabies, and they're beautiful, beautiful children. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to let Kelcie pick up.
Yes. So, yes, I had 2 babies. I had a boy, and then I had a girl, and I was fortunate enough to work for a Fortune 500 company. I had a management, I had a position as a manager for a sales team. So it was very demanding. Just the full on corporate life. And by the end of my maternity leave with my second one, I was like, I need to be home with these babies. The cost of daycare alone was going to put me in the negatives. Ultimately, at the end of the day, was I actually bringing home any money, or was I going, negative at my, for the cost of daycare? And then also too, it's just such precious time. Everyone tells you that they grow up so fast. And so I was like, well, I just want to be home with my babies. So but my husband and I have built our lifestyle off of 2 incomes. And so, we have a good house, like things like that. And so there was no way that I could just say, okay, bye, and like say bye to whole income. And so I went to Mom, and I've always been involved in real estate investing. I just joke that I've always been on the sidelines in the garage painting cabinets, or, painting walls, or removing wallpaper. I've never been fully involved as an investor. And so I went to her and I said, hey, like, I really need to figure out something. I want to spend time with my kids. I don't want to sacrifice that time, but also I need to bring some income in. And so, I was able to work with her and ultimately invested in our first real estate deal, and it went really well. And now I can say that we're fully investors now, and like this is our journey, and we're working on our second one, which it's something that I think a lot of moms think that they can't do, and they have to spend all this time investing. And so anyways, it was successful for me. And so then
can I interrupt you for a second?
No, go ahead.
Let's talk about that first deal that you did.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of asset was it?
Yeah. Mom, you want to help me out with this one? Because again, she was like full on hands on, and like was just like, okay, Kelcie, we need to do this and that and that. But here, you tell like the details. of
So
it.
I market to pre-probate leads, and so I have
What is that? What is
okay,
that?
pre-probate. That's I'm gonna kind of for Texas, like when somebody dies and it has to go through probate court. So pre-probate is you get the lead before, so literally the person may have died last week and the estate has not gone through probate. So in Texas, we have something where if you're able to talk with the heirs prior to it going probate, they can sign what's called an affidavit of heirship. So it doesn't actually have to go through the court system. They can pull the asset out of if there's other things in the estate, they can actually pull that piece of property out and sell it as long as all the heirs agree. So it's a little bit of paperwork. So we had a lead for that. I'd been actually talking to this lady, and I told Kelcie, okay, here's this opportunity. You can get into single family. It's in an appreciating area. And what they needed was, it wasn't tons of cash flow. So it was a single family rental. And so she's a cash flowing, I think like $50. But the thing is, we got the property at such a good deal that it's appreciating already. And they're getting the tax benefits. We were able to refinance it. So we did the BRRRR method, which is buy, renovate, which on this particular property, there wasn't a whole lot of renovations, rent it, refinance it, and then they were able to pull out some equity. So they made money that way. And then that kind of set them up so that they could go, and we're getting ready to close on her next property. So for me, Beth, and what I teach for people, I'm going to give this back to Kelcie so everybody kind of understands. But what we do is we focus on the fundamentals of single family houses. Because if you learn the fundamentals of how to find a good market to invest in, how to run the numbers, how to get the funding, that can actually escalate into, commercial deals, syndications, because you understand the fundamentals of it. And that's what we teach, how to find those fundamentals. So Kelcie, they closed on their deal, and then.
Yeah, well, and so just to backtrack really quick, I obviously yes, I was on the sidelines and I had two parents that were very involved, and obviously one that was specifically involved in real estate investing. But what she just explained was truly her coaching me through this deal. And I feel like it's a really good example of how I say we, but she's really the brains of this operation. And she really helps understand every single step of it, because again, coming from my husband and I, we don't have a background in real estate investing, and really breaking it down for us each and every step. And she was there for us and said, hey, we're going to refinance it here. You need to come to the table with this, and really walking through each step with us, which is extremely helpful. But so yes, first deal was successful. And then, so, through all this, I have a good mom group. And so they were like, well, we want to do the same thing. I have a good stay-at-home moms too. And they're like, how are you doing this with two babies? And I'm like, it's actually, if you just dedicate certain snippets of your day, and so, they go to bed by 8 p.m. If you just, go on 30 minutes to look at some deals one night out of the week, you're already a step ahead of so many that have not started real estate investing. And so through that, we just found that we had these moms out there that really wanted to contribute to their family. And we even had a focus group, and they talked about how, yes, of course, moms at the end of the day just want to contribute to their households in whatever way it is. And, a lot of the time stay-at-home moms, it's contributing to raising the family. But there's also, especially for me, there was this need to also figure out a financial situation of where I could contribute to us. And so, but also, how do we not sacrifice that time? And yeah, and then essentially that's how Money Making Mamas was born. Is we just realized that there's all these moms that want something for themselves too, outside of, because kids grow up, and even though it breaks our hearts for them to move on to those next milestones, we still want to say at the end of the day that we did X, Y, and Z outside of being a mom. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
that's how Money Making Mamas was born, and it's been really good. And I think my biggest joy has just been obviously working with my mom, but my biggest joy has also been helping other families that were in the same boat as us, of wanting that one-on-one time with their kids and having something for their own that wasn't taking away that time from them.
So tell me, how do you guys meet, and how many money making mamas are out there? And is it all in Dallas, or is it around the country? So tell me more about that.
Okay, so Money Making Mamas, we're kind of online. So all of our coaching and membership is online, and we are in the Dallas area. So what we try to do is so I wrote a book called Winning Deals and Heels. Yes, go to Amazon and purchase it, because part of the proceeds go to help a nonprofit here called Hope's Door. And that organization helps families heal from domestic violence. So I'm all about giving back, because that is one of the beauties of investing in real estate. Not only does it give you time back, but you're able to give back into your community. So one of the things that we do is we go out to communities and support, maybe we'll be sponsors or we'll be vendors. So one that helps us get our name and our brand out there. But also what we found is that moms don't really go to networking groups. Right. I mean, they're at home. I mean, Kelcie and I joke about this all the time, because we're part of a large networking group. And, most of the networking groups are at night, when you're putting the kids to bed. So
Right.
So we just worked out where I'm going to babysit so she can go. But they're everywhere, Beth. And what you were talking about women not being in real estate, well, even moms. There's really, when we did this focus group, because I said I've been investing for a long time. I've been coaching people since 2018. I never really had a niche on just focusing on moms. And I said, well, before we do that, we're going to find out what the need is. The need was overwhelming. When we had 10 solid women right off the bat that provided us, they were our focus group. And we said, okay, we want to know, how you want to learn, what info, what's important to you. And, they all said, because along the way, we had dads that wanted to join us. And I asked the moms, I said, well, do you want the men to come in? And they said, no. Now, not anything but they wanted something for themselves, right? Now, when you're investing in real estate, it's more of a family thing, right? You're not, if you have a spouse, you're not going to go out and buy properties without telling them. They have to be involved. So what one of the moms told us, we were kind of at the end, we had the package all together and all that kind of stuff. And she said, well, what about safety? Because when they go talk to their husbands or their partner about, well, I want to, join this coaching program and I want to be involved in this membership. Well, what the husband is going to say, or spouse is going to say, is, well, okay, but how are you not going to lose your money? How are you going to be safe, going to go look at property? So what Kelcie and I came up with is 4 core principles of money-making mamas. So first is family. We want to teach women how to invest successfully in real estate investing without sacrificing their family time. As Kelcie said, she's been able to weave it in between her naps and, play dates and things like that. Number 2 is safety. So we want to teach women how to safely invest in real estate, but also be safe when they go out and look at properties, right? Because sometimes you might go out and look at a property because you have to go right now. So we do a series of lunch and learn events. So this one that if anybody's listening, we have a lunch and learn coming up next Wednesday, and the topic is safety and real estate investing. And we actually have someone coming in. She's a female black belt karate person, and she's going to demonstrate self-defense techniques for women. And then our third core principle is wealth. We want to teach you how to build wealth, not just for a legacy, so you can have wealth today. So you can have money to take those kids to Disneyland or put them in some sporting event or buy them something, right? Everybody's feeling the pinch these days. And so who couldn't use a couple extra bucks at the end of the month? And tax benefits. I don't think we talk enough about how investing in real estate really does let you keep more of your money, right? Because of all the tax benefits. And then 4 is community. So we really are focusing on building a community of moms where they can was in the focus group. What happened is it came out that the women said, well, what if I wanted to partner with somebody? Or what if somebody, I'm big on building your own private money lending, which I can talk about as well. But they wanted to partner with one another. And I didn't feel comfortable with that because I've been in a lot of partnerships, and you got to know who you're partnering with. You have to make sure the deal is papered correctly. So we have the Money Making Moms membership. It's a community of women. They can talk with one another. They can share deal information. I come in once a month and ask any questions. And we're very, like if somebody wanted to get us anytime, but it's very structured. Like, okay, here's what we're going to do on this date, and kind of building a community for safety, and for support of other like-minded women that are wanting to invest. So yes, money making mamas. So as far as the geographic area, yeah, we're, in Dallas, Fort Worth, but the fundamentals that we teach, you could take to Ohio. I don't advocate investing in California or New York because they're not really landlord-friendly states, right? So first we want to find a landlord-friendly state. And then I host a podcast every month, and it's actually out of Orlando, Florida. So we have people. So the fundamentals are the same no matter when you're buying, because we focus on the very simple strategies of how to buy the single family home, how to put the right tenant in there, and how to manage it.
So can you, Nancy, tell us a story about one of your favorite investments?
I can. It's
that
one
you
of my,
made.
all right. So remember, I do some off-market deals. So this is one of my most famous deals that I've talked about a lot. It's not necessarily a single family home, but it's a very creative investment strategy. So remember I said that I do pre-probate. So I mailed a bunch of postcards, and they were nothing special. In fact, they look like my grandson could have made them. So it just said, I buy houses. And this guy called me, and his house, it was in the historic district of Fort Worth, Texas. And if you've ever worked in a house or had a house in a historic district, you can't just do whatever you want. There's certain, restrictions, and you have to get permits and things like that. So the house had been vacant for 5 years. It had been he had actually been born in it. It was his family home. And I wasn't the first investor that called him, but I was the first investor that started talking to him about football. Not that I'm a big football person, but there was some, because it was kind of late at night when he called, and we just started talking. And so one of the things I'd like to say to the audience is that when you're, you won't be the only investor knocking on a distressed seller's door, right? But you can be the only investor that builds empathy and builds rapport and is genuine, right? And so I was just like, okay, I don't really know that much about football. I'm married to a Packers fan. We live in cowboy territory. And he just thought that was hilarious. So
I'm a cheesehead, Nancy. I'm a cheesehead.
We miss Aaron. So yeah, so funny when we go to when Cowboys and the Packers play here, it's crazy. So anyway, so we got to, and he thought that was hilarious. So we just started talking. We were on the phone 20 minutes before we really got around to the property. So he liked me just from talking on the phone. His wife had said it was time for him to get rid of that property. So I literally papered up that deal over the phone. He told me, now I'm very familiar. I market in areas that I'm very familiar with. When you've been investing for a while, okay, so he only wanted $10,000 for the house. Done.
Yeah, where can I wire the money?
I knew that was going to be a deal. So I sent him the contract over, electronically. He signed it. And it was a couple of days before I went and looked at it, and oh my gosh, it was a wreck. Well, I didn't know what to do with that house. I knew it was going to be too much to be a rental or anything. I put a sign in the yard. One side was in English, one side was in Spanish. It said, owner will finance. Here's my phone number. We sold that house 3 days later for $50,000. My terms were $10,000 down, and we financed the house for $40,000 over 15 years at 10.5% interest. And wow. I did it all in my self-directed IRA, so I don't pay taxes on it at all. And that deal, the reason I bring it up, it's kind of a fun story, but there's a guy named Ken Corsini out of, he used to have a show on HGTV, Fix or Flip Atlanta. Well, he heard about that. He called me, he interviewed, and I'm in his book, Profit Like a Pro, chapter 12. So
that's fun. That's
and
so
I have to interrupt you real quick.
Yeah, Kelcie, go ahead.
Because Mom, you brought up, you said you used your self-directed IRA, and earlier you said that it's a misconception that you need a lot of money to start investing, and a lot of moms too, because I'm in the same boat. I quit my job back in January. I'm still getting emails about my 401k. And so I've called mom several times. Hey, just FYI, we got to do something with this. And so you can take it to a self-directed IRA and then invest in that. So it's nothing really out. It was never your money. I mean, it was your money, but it was never directly in your pocket. And like mom said, it's, you're not going to get taxed on it. So just taking that little bit but I would have never known how to do that. And that's kind of one thing that we teach other moms and families how to do as well, because there's a lot of moms out there that have quit their jobs, have their 401ks just hanging out, when realistically you can take that, roll it over, and invest in it with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great technique to use. Our audience, we have a sponsor that comes to our conference who talks to women and shows them how to do that, which is great. Have you, Nancy, ever considered doing anything other than single family home investments?
So I have graduated to other investments. So I have to say multifamily, I have not invested in, not because I haven't had the opportunity, but I think it's more, I'm a control freak. And I used to be a property manager, have my own property management company. So unless I'm part of the management team, I have a hard time with multifamily. And multifamily in the Dallas area is kind of suffering right now. But commercial real estate has been good to us. So I do invest passively in a commercial triple net portfolio. And because when the market is going really good, and the prices are going up and we have property taxes like crazy here in Texas, we sold off a few of our rentals, and we did a 1031 and rolled that money into this commercial triple net lease situation. And then we also did oil and gas, which I know people are going, what did she do? But this was in a couple of years ago. And at first I was like, oh my gosh. And we needed a big tax write-off. So that's the thing, when you sell, I didn't want to pay a lot of taxes and capital gains. So we had to find something. And I did do my due diligence. It was a little bit of out of my comfort zone to do that. But so at first I was like, the first 6 months, I was like, oh my gosh, what did we do? I thought we had lost the money, but it's coming back around. It looks like it's going to be a really solid investment. And I would not advise people, like when they're brand new. I mean, I've been doing this, like I said, since almost 20 years now. So it's something that you grow into. And I think when women first get into it, they want to do, I've met women, I want to do short-term rentals, or I want to do flips, or and they get so inundated with the idea when they're like, wait, you need to learn the fundamentals, take it step by step. And someone once said to me, you get the first brick and then you can build on it and build on it. And that's where I'm at today. So
do you hold all of yours, or do you sell all of yours? Like, do you hold them and rent them?
Very active in the market. So let me give you an example. So short-term rentals, we had a few in this one area, because what's happened in the short-term rental arena, as you're probably aware, is all these restrictions. These cities have come out, and first when you bought in there, but the other thing, people got all hyped up about, oh, we can make a lot. And we did make a lot of money in 2020, during COVID, because people were traveling and all of that. But then when people started not traveling, and there were lots and lots of saturation. So I'm always looking at the market trends. It's something I do, maybe not daily, but certainly weekly. So I started seeing a trend in this one area that we were investing. It was very investor friendly. The town loved short-term rentals because they had a moratorium. They couldn't build any more hotels. It was a fabulous little tourist town, but it started getting saturated. And so we ended up making a decision of selling out 2 of our short-term rentals in this area. Now, I could have rolled them over into a long-term rental, but I didn't because of the town itself. What wouldn't be able to support what I needed to collect and rent. So I do keep them. When I first started, I would have my rentals for, I think the longest I've held one is 12 years, and I had the same tenant. So when I first started out, I believed in long time tenants, less turnover. As I've gotten a little more wiser, and especially after COVID, I would not be so, I never did like 2-year. The most I've ever done is a 2-year lease. I don't do anything beyond that. But even now today, I'm more likely to do a 6 months to a year, because when the tenants were the ones that were getting the money and not the landlords during COVID, I had a problem with that.
Yeah. What is, so I like to try to keep this around 30 minutes so that everyone can go back and feed their kids or eat themselves. And I know Kelcie's husband's taking care of the 2 little toddlers. How amazing is that?
Yeah, he's great.
Your grandchildren. So what would you both what advice would you give to women who watch this, who are thinking, I want to do it, I'm ready to do it, but what's your advice for them to dip their toe in? So Kelcie, why don't you go first?
I think it doesn't hurt to call and just ask questions and have that conversation. It's free to talk to us. Just sending a message, if you don't feel 100% comfortable picking up the phone, you can always shoot us. You can find us on all the social medias, Money Making Mamas, or even, Kelcie, Nancy. But it doesn't hurt to just ask the questions and just have a conversation. I will say for me, I was terrified to leave what I've known, that I thought I was just going to climb the corporate ladder. But it's one of those things that, yes, you invest in yourself and you invest in time. But the best part about us that I truly, truly believe is we have built this off of being moms. You got Nana here, you got Mama here, and that mama bear instinct comes into us, and we're not going to let anyone fail, or we're not going to, let anyone take any risks just because it benefits whoever. So I think that's the biggest piece of advice that I have, and just, it doesn't hurt to ask questions.
Great. Thank you. Nancy, what's your advice to women who are thinking about putting their toe in the water?
So I say this, we actually created a free, no obligation, it's called the Millionaire Mama Masterclass. And it's about 45 minutes of pre-recorded webinar that talks more about Kelcie and Nancy and how we got into where we're at and how we make money. We go exactly how we do it, how we're doing off-market deals, our secret sauce is buying off-market deals with other people's money. And that's what we teach. Like Kelcie said, and if you just want to know more about us, we try to be very transparent. I'll be on videos and I won't even know what I'm doing, but I do know what I'm doing when it comes to real estate investing. And I think, I would like to say this too to the moms, because I think fear and our money mindset stop us, right? Just stops us in our tracks. And so if you're out there and you're wanting more for your family, you can just take it as slow as you like. And one thing about our coaching program, it's for life. Like, we don't go, okay, you're only here for 3 months or 6 months. If you need us, maybe I won't be here in 10 years, but Kelcie will be. So when you come into our coaching program, you become part of our family, and we're not going to let our family, go out on the street corner all by themselves. And we're going to basically, when you jump off the cliff, we're going to be holding your hand, and the other one is going to be down there catching you. So I think,
when you say other people's money, what do you mean? Family and friends money, or what is that?
Or private money. So I'm big on building a network of private money lenders, people that want to invest passively. Usually it's in their self-directed IRA, and they have money, and there's about $3 billion sitting in self-directed IRA accounts. And it's all about relationships. So it's negotiable. Like, I negotiate all the time with my private money lenders, as far as, like, now we might be getting in the weeds a little bit too much here, but about points, and I'm not going to pay points, and I'm going to pay this, but it's all based on relationship. The people who lend me money, they don't even pull my credit. They just know me. They know that I'm going to pay them back. And but it's all built on relationships. It's not like, oh, you can pick up the phone and call. Now, some people are like that. They, made a business model out of it. But the people that I work with are people that I've met over the years. And now they like making money. I like making money. And so we work well together.
Excellent. Well, ladies, it was such a pleasure having you. And what's the best way for people to find you? Just on social media?
So social media, but when they could go to our website. It's www.money, MONEY, making, MAKIN, mamas, MAMAS.com, or at money_making mamas. So the making has no G.
Got it.
And then, like Kelcie said, Nancy or Kelcie at moneymakingmamas.com. So yeah, we're out there just yeah. But thank you so much, Beth, for having us.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.